Planning a trip can be so exciting, but sometimes a little overwhelming, right? Like trying to choose which amazing sites to squeeze into your itinerary.
It's definitely a good problem to have.
It is. So today we're diving into 5 must-go places in Berlin. Just a quick look to give you a taste of what this incredible city has to offer.
Sounds like fun.
All right, first up, the Brandenburg Gate. They say it's on every Berlin checklist, and, well, it is pretty iconic.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine Berlin without it.
Right. The source material we're looking at calls it a symbol of Berlin and German unity. But I have to admit, I kind of glossed over that part. Like, okay, it's a monument, but what's the deeper meaning?
Well, that symbolism, it didn't just appear out of thin air. It's deeply rooted in history.
Oh, I bet. This is Berlin we're talking about, after all.
Exactly. Think back to 1961, the Cold War. The Berlin Wall went up, and the Brandenburg Gate was suddenly trapped in the no man's land, closed off. It became a physical symbol of a divided city, a divided nation, even divided families.
Well, I hadn't thought about it like that.
And then when the wall finally came down in '89, the Brandenburg Gate, it transformed overnight. Suddenly, walking through it wasn't just sightseeing, it was this incredibly powerful experience of reunification.
Can you imagine? Witnessing that moment in history, the weight of the world shifting around you. Incredible. Speaking of the wall, this list includes 2 wall-related sites, the Berlin Wall Memorial and the East Side Gallery. Are we talking about 2 totally different experiences here?
Totally. They each offer a unique perspective on the same historical event. The memorial is a place for somber reflection. You'll see remnants of the actual wall, stories of escape attempts, some successful, some sadly not. There are also personal accounts from people whose lives were directly impacted by the wall.
So it's a very emotional experience.
Definitely. The East Side Gallery is totally different. This is about the power of art to transform a space. Imagine the longest remaining stretch of the Berlin Wall, covered in vibrant murals. It's full of color, energy, and it makes some powerful statements.
Wow, so you're faced with a tough choice then. Do you want to reflect on the weight of history or experience how creativity flourished even in a place of division? I think I might have to see both.
You can't go wrong with either or both.
Okay, moving on. We have Museum Island. Now, the source material describes it as having world-class museums. True, I'm sure, but also a little vague, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It's an entire island dedicated to art and culture.
Okay, that's way more interesting than world-class.
Right. You have to get specific. We're talking about the Pergamon, for example. It houses these massive ancient structures, like the Ishtar Gate of Babylon. Imagine walking through something like that. And then there's the Altis Museum, a masterpiece of a building packed with Greek and Roman art and completely intertwined with Berlin's history as a cultural center.
I'll admit I tend to zone out a bit when it comes to art museums, but you've definitely piqued my interest.
Rightfully so.
So let's say, for argument's sake, that our listener is more into history than art. What makes the Pergamon or the Altis Museum worth their time?
Well, for the Pergamon, it's the sheer scale of the place. It's one thing to see a photo of the Ishtar Gate, but to actually walk through it, to be dwarfed by its size and see the incredible details up close, it's a completely different experience. And as for the Altis Museum, even if you're not an art buff, just walking those halls gives you a feel for how Berlin established itself as a cultural powerhouse. They also have an incredible collection of Etruscan gold.
Ooh, shiny! Now you're talking my language.
That's really quite something.
All right, I am sold on Museum Island. Now, I have a confession. When I first read this list, I kind of skimmed over the part about the Reichstag Building, government buildings. Not usually my thing.
That's fair.
But now I'm feeling like I might have made a mistake.
Don't underestimate it. This isn't just another boring government building. The Reichstag Dome is modern architectural genius, all glass and light, designed by Norman Foster. But the real highlight is the view from up there.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking panoramic, see all of Berlin views? Because that I can get behind.
Absolutely. You can see everything from the TV tower to the Brandenburg Gate, even the Spree River winding its way through the city. It's a must-see. Just make sure to book your visit in advance because it's popular for a reason.
You got it booking in advance.
Okay.
So, from the symbol of reunification at Brandenburg Gate to the poignant reminders of division at the Berlin Wall Memorial and East Side Gallery, not to mention the breathtaking art and architecture at Museum Island and a bird's-eye view of the city from the Reichstag Building, Berlin has got it going on.
Right. And to think we've only just scratched the surface. It's a city that's constantly evolving, always adding new layers to its story.
It makes you wonder about all the hidden gems that are just waiting to be discovered.
Hmm.
Berlin is definitely calling my name. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Big thanks to
It's been my pleasure.
our expert for sharing these incredible insights into Berlin's must-see spots. Until next time, keep exploring.